All right, let's take two. So, yeah, so dollar index, obviously very, very key. We can see when we look out, impulse, huge correction. Okay, so impulse, correction. Could we see continuation like this? The way that it is showing right now, if we do get that scenario, if we do get price eventually coming up and then mitigating this supply zone, right? This key supply zone, which is a mitigation of previous impulse correction continuation, then we will see that eventual, collapse. But the way that price is on the weekly showing is that do we just see a bullish bearish flag before continuing to the downside? We've obviously we've swept. So this demand zone, even though it's weak because it failed to take out this swing high, so it attempted and it failed. It came here, and obviously once we saw this break, it was clear that we're going to get more downside, and then obviously that's where we get anything else, any forex pair that's quoted against the American dollar would have seen upside potential. We have this weekly demand zone, which obviously has broken this internal swing high, but failed to take out this swing high. So it failed to do its job. So therefore, obviously once we've tapped into this supply zone, we saw that collapse. Now, looking at this week low, like I said, it failed to take out this significant swing high structure. So we're likely to see this run. So I'm anticipating pretty strongly that we're going to see. Yeah, well, look, it's likely that we're going to see continuation to the downside. Either we get, like I said, we get a bearish flag and then continue, or we see a sweep here, come back up, and then it eventually makes it a retracement to continue to the downside to fuel more, to bring in more orders. It needs fuel to continue to the downside. So that could be. That could be an outlook for sure. Okay. Let's have a look at the daily. Your daily's showing a bit of a clearer picture. Now, in terms of demand zone there, could get a reaction from here. This obviously, this daily demand zone took out this key structure, and eventually seeing, upside potential, upside momentum. So this is a key demand zone. But as we're looking at current price, this is a front leg, this is a back leg, right? All this here is front leg, all this here is back leg. So this is all relevant. All this is relevant here. So what we're seeing, obviously what we're seeing is impulsive correction, and now either, well, this is pretty key. Obviously this is a 4-hour supply zone, daily supply zone, 4-hour supply zone clearer, and now does it come back up to here before continuing to the downside? That is a potential. Or does it on the lower time frame, 4-hour, 15-minute, create a continuation before moving to the downside? So obviously dollar index has found some resistance here. there is obviously some profit taking happening for sure. So there's obviously some profit taking happening here, because you got this area of interest where if you're looking for shorts, if you're in short here, you would have been taking profits here. So obviously, with the dollar index, we have two areas of interest. So obviously you have this 4 hour and this 4 hour, this decisional and extreme supply zone. This one here is interesting because obviously this is news and juice. What is that? That's NFP, yeah. So that's NFP, so we can ignore that candle. So we're looking at this one here, right? This is the flip from, so obviously this supply zone calls this bearish flip. So we got the, so this is the key. This is a lot of orders there. So it'd be obviously interesting to see if we can actually come up here and then look for downside. If that's the case, then if we get this eventual upside now, then we'll be looking at shorts on gold and Aussie dollar. Now, can we see the eventual seeking of this 4 hours supply zone mitigation? Now, let's just have a look. Sweep, floor, demand, 50-minute demand zone chain, and then entry. So this would be entry. We need to see this taken out with conviction, right? And then another continuation to the upside. So then that will show to me that that we're going to see more downside in gold and Aussie potentially. So let's go to Aussie. Yep, so let's have a look at Aussie. So starting on the weekly, we've seen obviously, so this is our range. This is our current range. And then obviously internal price action. This is our current leg. We saw the sweep of that previous weekly internal range liquidity. We saw the sweep here. So first this sweep and then this sweep. So could we just be seeing eventual downside into this daily demand zone, this weekly demand zone before continuing to the upside? Or will it come and fill out this window of imbalance before continuing to the upside? We need to wait and see what develops. On the daily is showing a little bit more clearer picture. So we yet again daily, weekly internal range liquidity swept, which is the high, failed demand zone, failed to create a new high. So then this becomes the flip. So now this is a flip, and we're looking at potential more downside. Yeah, more downside. We need to see bearish engulfing, and then continuation to the downside. To then, there's all this potential here, right? There's all this potential of liquidity to be taken. So that's something to keep in mind. If we do get that dollar index upside potential, then we should be seeing these lows run. Currently this low is weak because it's failed to take out this high with conviction, meaning it's, high close. So we need to see how price develops. Four-hour is giving us, definitely a clearer picture. As we zoom in, obviously we're gonna create clarity with the narrative. So corrective price action, all profit taking. This is all profit taking candlestick price action. Very clear. Wicks to the low, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wicks to the low into the daily and 4-hour demand zone. So very key. That kind of price action, you're always looking at, seeing some kind of reversal, especially at key, key POIs. So now this is obviously the last line of defense for the supply to stay in control. 4-hour demand is in control. Like expectational order flow. So expectational order flow is that if this doesn't break, then we have a true shift in character, and that we're seeing true shift in sentiment, and we're seeing more upside. Right now, demand is in control on the 4-hour, but expectation order flow is that now we've kind of mitigated the 4-hour supply zone, is that we're going to see downside potential because we're just following structure, and that's all we've got here in the front leg, right? Impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, continuation, right? So that's what we're looking at. But obviously, with the way that price has developed, this is Monday, Asian session. Continuation, impulse correction, continuation, impulse correction, continuation. So now that we've come into here, so 50-minute expectation order flow is more upside, is more bullish price action, and demand is in control in the 50-minute as well. So we've got a nice entry here. What have we got? 50-minute floor, and then you have demand zone chain, and then you have your entry 50-minute. So then you'd have to look at the 1 minute to see once we've there's no reason not to look for longs. I mean that is clear. Yeah, so that's clear. So once we've come here, really nice reaction as we're seeing it. Sweep of liquidity, sweep of internal inducement, and then continuation. Now we need the floor. We get the floor. We get the demand zone chain, and then you'd be looking at an entry here. That's if it wants to go down. Yeah, I'll be looking for a nice entry here. So, yeah, if we can get it, if it comes up, mitigates here, and then creates a, internal range structure, or structural liquidity, and then we continue to the upside. But that's it for Aussie dollar. Gold is just all upside. All upside. But if we look back in the past, even just here, we can see, obviously impulse and then profit taking, and then retracement. So if we get same kind of example here, what we're getting currently with what we had previously, then we could get just a nice retracement before, coming down to this demand zone or even under here. But these wicks mitigated that, and then obviously this demand zone mitigated this previous demand zone. So, it'd be nice to see, price does need a retrace to fuel more orders, okay? So, coming down into here would make sense before continuing to the upside. The way that price is developing at the moment, obviously head, shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline, We could see downside from here if we see clear break of structure. Obviously, we don't have anything to rely it on from previous price action. This is the front leg. This whole thing is the front leg. So we need to see, this obviously this 4 hour demand zone failed to create a new high. So that means we could be seeing a shift in, just a nice little tracement back into here before continuing to the upside. 15 minutes shows a bit of a clearer picture. Yeah, 15 minutes showing a bit of a clearer picture. So we now have our floor, and then we have our supply zone chain. Yeah. And then here, this whole thing, we go from this swing high to there, and that was our supply zone, which there was an entry today. Yeah. So you could have caught an entry short on gold. We can see how obviously after strong impulsive price action, there's always going to be some kind of correction because there's profit taking happening here, all profit taking, right? So it's never going to just continuously going up, and that is the mistake that most traders make. So we have our floor, supply zone chain, sweep of internal 15-minute structural internal range liquidity, EQ nearly met, and then there would have been a 1 minute entry here. So let's go down. So no entry really. Not even here. Yeah, the closest is right here. But then you're coming well into the move, and it's not all that clean, but definitely is not. It's definitely a trade for sure. Yeah, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. Can we come here to the 6 to 1? Let's see. But I'm with gold, I'm favouring this structure to be broken, and once we break it, then likely going to see more downside, but then it could just sweep it and then continue the upside. So that's it for now.